Welcome to Midnight Mule FPL. I'm Midnight Mule and this is the video for Game Week 35, and we've had the announcements for the FA Cup rescheduled games, and it turns out it's going to happen just later in Game Week 37. So there's no more doubles and no more blanks. So if you've got a chip left, you can just choose which of the 4 weeks you want to use it in. I've had a look, and if it was me, my team's actually okay. So if I had a free hit or a wild card or a triple captain, I'd probably use it in Game Week 38. If I had a bench boost, I would just use it the next time it looked like I had 15 players that were all okay. And that's pretty much it, and we just got unlucky. Because had there been a double and a blank coming up and you saved your wild card or your free hit, then you'd be in a good position. But as it stands, it's like, nah, oh well. Okay, I'm going to show you what I think of the popular players for Game Week 35 and the once popular players. But before we do that, let's see what I can show you for Game Week 34 players. But as I'm recording this, Forest and Brentford are playing, so we've not got their scores yet. Game Week 34, the keepers. Pickford managed to get 4, which I was happy about because I had him. Pope got 6. And that's all. Most of the keepers in the system ended up not playing. For defenders, 8 Nori 11, Livramento 6, Burn 13, and that's all. For midfielders, Salah 8, Murphy 6, Luis Diaz 7, Semenyo 9, Enzo 6, Fernandez 4. For the forwards, Kuna 15, well done if you picked him up, Isak 6, and that's all. So for the upcoming game week, we've got 4 game weeks left. And what I normally do in this section is I show you a player, and based on what I think their ownership is likely to be, I say how much harm they're going to do you. However, it's been really difficult to do this game week because a lot of teams free hit last week. So most teams would be going back to their game week 33 team, but some would have moved on from there. So I've done my best to estimate, but this is probably the most inaccurate this is going to be all season. So Raya, I'm reckoning, is probably going to be the most popular goalkeeper. So if you don't own Raya and he scores 6 points, that's like you get minus 2.7. He's at home to Bournemouth, then away to Liverpool, then home to Newcastle, away to Southampton. Could be 2 or 3 clean sheets there, assuming they still play him, and there's no reason to think they wouldn't. So he's all right to buy. Possibly not the best keeper to buy. If you've got him, he's absolutely fine to keep though. Sales is going to be popular. If he scores 6 points, you don't have him. I reckon that might only be minus 1.2 against you. But he's only got 1 really good fixture left, and that's next game week. So again, I probably wouldn't be bringing him in, but if you've got him, he's fine. So Pickford, he's got a very nice fixture this week at home to Ipswich, and in game week 37 he's at home to Southampton. The other 2 are away to Fulham, away to Newcastle, but you should at least get some save points there. So I think Pickford is quite a good choice for keeper. If you've got him, well done. If you're wild carding, I think Pickford's a perfectly good choice for a keeper to get. And then Flecken, absolutely wouldn't buy him, but if you've got him, he's going to be all right. He's not playing any really difficult games between now and the end of the season. Wolves away on the last day of the season probably won't be a clean sheet. The other 3, he's got a chance there. Then Martinez, definitely wouldn't go buying him, but if he's your keeper, I wouldn't be using a transfer to get rid of him. And then Henderson, he had a chance of a double game week, but it's not going to happen. If he's your only keeper, again, I wouldn't use a transfer to get rid of him at the moment. Only if you've got transfers and nothing else to do would you move him on. But even then, you'd probably use it in game week 38 when he's away to Liverpool. And all the players I'm showing you are either popular now or used to be popular. And of those on the screen, it's only Raya and Sales that's really going to hurt you if they do well and you don't own them. And then second page of keepers, Pope, I'd say don't go buying him. But if you've got him, it's probably not worth using a transfer to move him on, at least not this game week. But then he's got Chelsea, then he's got Arsenal. Only if you've got transfers to burn though, because I'm sure you'll have something else in your team you want to work with. So if you have to keep Pope, that's all right, but don't go buying him. Fabianski doesn't play, Ward doesn't play, but they used to be popular players. Areola, I reckon hardly anyone's going to be playing in this game week. But he's at home to Spurs. Spurs really haven't been very good recently. He's okay to play if he's the keeper you've got. If you're wild carding or free hitting, Areola is okay to get because he's cheap and you've got money to spend elsewhere. So defenders. Now with defenders, I don't think there are any ones that have marked as green. There aren't any really great choices in my mind for the remaining 4 weeks as things stand. So Gvardiol's the most important defender. Loads of managers own him. He's got 4 fixtures, any of which could feasibly be a clean sheet. He could get an attacking return in any of them. If you don't own him and he does well, that is going to hurt your rank. Muniz is highly owned because he was doing well before the double game fixtures, and then lots of managers brought him in, and they've just not got transfers to spare to move him out. So if he happens to do well and you don't own him, he's going to hurt your rank as well. And then Milenkovic, I reckon about a third of managers are going to be owning him. His fixtures are okay. Now, there are no really great defenders as far as I'm concerned. So the 3 on the screen, if they were your main 3, that is okay. You might want an Arsenal one in there. For example, Saliba, if you could afford him, then Saliba, Gvardiol and another defender would be all right. Saliba could get 2 or 3 clean sheets realistically between now and the end of the season. He's going to hurt you a bit if he does well, but not as much as I think Munoz or Gvardiol would, certainly this game week. Then Livramento, if you've got him and have to play him, okay, that's all right. Definitely don't go buying him. He's absolutely not worth buying. Away to Brighton, then he's got Chelsea and Arsenal. Then Aït-Nouri, he's okay away to Man City, so probably not a clean sheet this game week. Outside chance of an attacking return. But then he's got Brighton, Palace, Brentford. There's a chance of something there. And he's only 5 million. So he's all right. If you had the 5 white defenders on the screen at the moment, I'd say you've got 5 pretty good defenders. But most game weeks, you're going to want to be playing 3 defenders and then 7 attacking players. Second page of defenders that used to be popular. So Kerkez, absolutely wouldn't go buying him. If you've got him and you have to play him, that's okay though. But if you want to keep hold of him, last game week of the season at home to Leicester, he could get something there. Burn wouldn't go buying him. Definitely not worth buying him. But if you have to play him, all right then. Virgil van Dijk. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with rotation regarding slot. We've no idea because he's not won the Premier League before. Is he going to play his best team every week so there's nothing to go for? Or is he going to play kids? If it was up to me, I think he should play his best team and just try and get the most number of points he can, the most goals he can. But I would assume that Virgil van Dijk's going to play the remaining fixtures. If you've not got him, don't buy him. He's got Chelsea and Arsenal on the next 2. And even after that, I wouldn't spend the money on him. I'd spend it elsewhere. Timber, a bit of a minute's worry it seems at the moment. So absolutely wouldn't go buying him. If you've got him and you have to play him, okay. Just hope he plays and he gets you a clean sheet. And then Mikalenko's bench fodder, but assuming he plays, he's home to Ipswich this game week, which is nice. Then he's got Fulham, then he's at home to Southampton. So that's very nice. Konza, no great fixtures, but he is nice and cheap. So Konate, nice and cheap compared to Virgil van Dijk. Not the same attacking returns. We don't know he's going to play, but I think we can assume he's going to play. But he's got Chelsea and Arsenal in the next 2. Then away to Brighton. Could get clean sheets in any of those, but I suspect there's more chance of not getting a clean sheet in any of those at all. If you've got him, he's fine. Personally, I wouldn't be buying him though. If he does well and you don't own him, he's not going to hurt your rank. So Nico Williams, I think, is not going to be super popular, so he shouldn't hurt your rank if he does well. If you've got him, he's absolutely fine to keep though. The fixtures are okay. Robinson, I think, is worth moving on if you've got nothing else to do, because at time recording, we don't know his status for fitness and he hasn't got any great fixtures left. Greaves just bench fodder. Woutfast bench fodder. Mazraoui's bench fodder, but he does tend to play. If you had to play him, that's all right. Howard Bell is just bench fodder. For the midfielders, Salah is still the most important midfielders. Nearly all managers are going to be owning him. He can score in any game. We'd assume he's going to try and get as many goals and assists as he can for the last 4 game weeks. If you're wildcard or free hitting, it's almost certainly worth getting him. If he does well and you don't own him, he's going to hurt your rank. And every week, some managers will be captaining him, which means his ownership would be over 100%. So if he gets 10 points, that might be like minus 12 against you if you don't own him. Mbeumo, he's massively popular and growing a lot in popularity. I've got him as half the teams are going to be owning him. I suspect it may well be higher than that come the deadline, which is tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow evening. So Mbremo's definitely worth having. If you can get to him without a hit, definitely worth getting Mbremo. Nice fixtures. Rodgers, nice and cheap, quite highly owned. Now, he will hurt you more than Mbremo if you don't own him and he does well, but I think there's more chance of Mbremo doing well than Rodgers, which is why I've got Mbremo higher in the list. Murphy's popular, more popular possibly than Mbremo, but again, I think Mbremo is going to do more points, score more points. Saka, bit dodgy. If you've got him, you'd play him. If you want to sell him for Mbremo, that's absolutely fine. If he does get any minutes against Bournemouth, he could well get some points, but we don't know if he is going to play because Arsenal have got to go away to PSG midweek and they have to win that game. They're going to want him to be fit. And then Sarr, he's popular-ish because he was doing well and lots of people brought him in for the double game week. His fixtures are okay the next 3 game weeks. I wouldn't be bringing in Sarr, but if I've got him, I wouldn't be worried about playing him. Second page of midfielders, Eze, like Sarr, was popular because of the double game weeks, but he is a good player. He's fine to have. Kluivert's fine to have, but I wouldn't buy him this game week. He's away to Arsenal. De Bruyne, now if he gets to play, he's a very good player to have, but we don't know what his minutes are going to be. But if we knew he was starting, absolutely worth having. He's a lot of money though, 9.4. So I wouldn't go from Saka to De Bruyne, for example, because you're going from one dodgy minutes player to another dodgy minutes player. And Haaland is back in training, and is that going to affect De Bruyne's minutes? It might do. They're different positions, of course, but Pep has to move things around. But if Haaland's on the pitch and De Bruyne, then De Bruyne's got more chance of getting an assist. Bowen, very good player, very popular. Didn't quite make him green, but he's very, very close to being green. If you're wildcarding, absolutely worth getting Bowen in. If you've got Saka, you could move him on to Bowen. But Bowen's ticking over, but his popularity, although I've got it low here at the moment because that was based on transfers and current ownerships, I do think his ownership's going to go up a lot. Not as much as Mbremo, but it will go quite high. He is worth having. Luis Diaz is like Bowen in that he just ticks along, doesn't seem to get massive scores, but he keeps getting a goal and or an assist, something like that. So I've made him green because he's possibly got slightly more chance of getting more points, but he is lower owned than Bowen. So if you can only afford to get one of Bowen or Luis Diaz, I think Bowen's the better choice. And then Palmer, still dropping in popularity. He's done nothing forever. He really shouldn't hurt your rank. Even if he gets 17 points this coming game week, that shouldn't be hurting your rank because he's so lowly owned. If you wanted to sell Palmer for Bowen, for example, that would be fine. If you've got Palmer and not Mbremo and you've got transfers to burn, I'd say that's definitely worth doing that move. Third page of midfielders, all these used to be popular, but they're just not anymore. So Adango's not going to hurt you if he does well. Away to Arsenal. We don't know what his minutes are going to be. Absolutely don't go buying him. If you had to play him, all right then. Fernandes, the best player in the team, but at 8.5 million, you can definitely get other midfielders that are going to hurt you if you don't have them, and they're likely to do better than Fernandes. So absolutely wouldn't go buying Fernandes, but if you had to play him, that's all right. Gordon, absolutely not worth getting. Don't know what his minutes are going to be. Doesn't have any good games apart from at home to Everton, but of course he came from Everton, so that might be an interesting game. But absolutely don't go buying Gordon. Semenyo is a good player, but away to Arsenal, then in 2 game weeks' time away to Man City, so I wouldn't go buying him. If you're on a wild card, you could get Semenyo and think you're saving him for the last game week of the season, which is against Leicester. I wouldn't go buying him, but if you've got him, he's all right to have. And then Enzo's all right to have, but he's nice bench fodder. Home to Liverpool, absolutely don't go buying him to play him. But if you wanted to buy him because he frees up money, then that's all right. And then Dibbling, very good player in a very bad team. So I'm aware the video this week's not really very useful because a lot of the players are like, meh, and the chances are the team you've got is all right. Just make sure you got Mbremo and Bowen. For the forwards, Isak's still the most important forward, even though he's had no amazing scores for several weeks now. If he does well, he is going to hurt your rank if you don't own him. So having him just for an insurance policy is okay. If you're wildcarding, you may want to sell him. just because you can get 3 better forwards potentially. But if he does well and you don't have him, that is going to hurt your rank. If you wanted to sell him because you've got away to Brighton, then he's got Chelsea and Arsenal, he's all right to sell, absolutely fine to sell. Just be aware, if you sell him and he does well, that is going to hurt your rank. Marmouche, good player, very, very popular. It's going to hurt your rank if you don't own him and he does well. But with Haaland coming back in training, it's assumed that toward the end of the season, Marmouche will get reduced minutes. But if you've got him, he's fine to hold. If you're wildcarding, I probably wouldn't be bringing him in though. Then Mateta is a very good player. His fixtures are okay. So Chris Wood, 4 fixtures coming up where he could get a goal realistically in any of them. He's all right to get on a wild card if you wanted to. If you've got him, he's absolutely fine to keep. I probably wouldn't be bringing him in, but he's all right. As things stand, I don't think he's going to really hurt you if you don't own him, and he does well though. So Kuna, away to Man City, he's not massively highly owned. He was last game week, but that's because loads of managers were on free hit. Now they've gone back to their game week 33 team, they no longer have Kuna. So the chances are most of them are not going to be buying him this game week because he's away to Man City. But from next game week, they will be buying him. So what you could do, if you've got Isak, play Isak this game week away to Brighton, and then you could swap him next game week perhaps for Kuna for Brighton, Palace and Brentford. And then Watkins, absolutely not worth buying. Some people may have held on to him because there was a chance Villa were going to get a double. That's now not going to happen. Now, Rashford's probably out for the rest of the season, so Watkins should get good minutes. He may well get a goal or two between now and the end of the season, but I think there'll be other forwards that'd be better to have. If you don't have Watkins and he does well, that's not going to hurt your rank. Second page of once popular forwards, but not so much now. So Visser's growing in popularity. He is a good player. They've got 4 nice fixtures coming up. Absolutely worth having. But he's not going to hurt your rank at the moment. Now Vardy, he said he's leaving the club at the end of the season. He's got the 2 easiest fixtures he could have in the next 3 game weeks. That's home to Southampton, then he's got Forest, and he's at home to Ipswich. And Forest is Leicester's derby, and Vardy's a wind-up merchant. So he's going to have a good time in all 3 of those fixtures. There's a reasonable chance he'll get no points, but if you want a bit of fun, then Vardy would be a very fun player to have. He's probably going to disappoint you, come off at 60, but he would be a fun player to have. Depends why you're playing a game. If you're playing for fun, Vardy's a good player to have. Then Beto, if he gets minutes, you'd have thought he would do all right, but he didn't do very well last game week. But home to Ipswich in 2 game weeks' time, at home to Southampton, only 4.8 million. If you had to get him on a wild card to save money, he's all right. If you've got him, he's okay to keep. Raul Jimenez, he's not popular. Hardly anyone's going to have Raul Jimenez. You don't need to worry about him. Personally, I wouldn't buy Raul Jimenez. It's just the fixtures aren't worth it. But if you've got him, he's all right. And then any 4.5 million forward that you had as bench fodder, they're obviously just bench fodder. We're now going to look at the benching order, starting with the goalkeepers. And this is just a suggestion. You do whatever you like. The first keeper you see, I suggest you put on your bench, which means you're playing your second one. So if you've got Ward or Fabianski, they're not even playing, so of course they're on your bench. Then Pope away to Brighton, then Ariella at home to Spurs, Henderson at home to Forest, Martinez at home to Fulham, Fleckham at home to Man United, Sales away to Palace, Raya at home to Bournemouth, and Pickford at home to Ipswich. Regarding the other players, the first player you see that you've got, I suggest, is position 3 on your bench, the next one position 2, and the last one position 1. So any 4.5 million forward doesn't even play, or any player that's not playing, of course they're position 3 in your bench. Then Harwood, Bellis, Faust, Greaves, Robinson, Mazraoui, Konza, Kirkez, Dango, Aït-Nouri, Byrne, Livramento, Dibbling, Enzo, Semenyo, Raul Jimenez, Gordon, Cliver, Murphy, Beto, Williams, Kanate, Milenkovic, Munoz, Mikalenko, Timber, Virgil van Dijk, Saliba, Gvardiol, Fernandez, Eze, Sarr, Palmer, Rogers, Wood, Watkins, Mateta, Kuna, Visser, Luis Diaz, De Bruyne and Saka. Regarding captaincy, it's actually quite wide open this game week. So if you want to go with whomever you want to, that's kind of all right. Now, I suspect Salah, among the entire player base, would be the most popular captain this game week. I suspect Mbeumo is going to be the most popular amongst engaged managers. So the chances are that the players around your rank, most of them would be going for Mbeumo, and Mbeumo is a good choice, but Salah will also be okay. And then another potential midfield you might want to go for is Bowen. For the forwards, Marmoush could be good at home to Wolves. Isak could be all right. And if you want to have a party, you could go for Vardy. He may do really well. So the Leicester fans and the Ipswich fans are going to spend the whole game chanting to each other, you're going down, going down, going down. So that's just going to be one crazy atmosphere. As for the background image, today's May the 1st, and it was on May the 1st in 1999 that SpongeBob SquarePants first aired on Nickelodeon. So here he is underwater playing a football in his green hat. It's not quite the right sort of hat, but that's the best I could do. And there we have it, my thoughts on the players that are popular now or used to be popular for FPL Game Week 35. No doubles, no blanks. We got a straight run in now. It could be interesting. Hopefully we're all going to get 4 green arrows. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.